Oh,
Wow,
that was fast. It cut off before we were ready. Hey, Gloucester Township, what's happening? I'm Joe Allen. That's Keith Gibbons. This is the GT Observer podcast. And today is, we're in June now.
Almost, yeah. Yeah, well, when this airs, it will be June.
It'll be June when this airs. So,
we're recapping a Wednesday meeting, which was not typical, right? They're usually held on Mondays.
Yeah, it was
and
a weird
this week
one.
was a Wednesday because of
Memorial
Day.
So not a terribly eventful meeting, and also
there was some hiccups. Neither of us were there, so for me, myself, this is going to be the first time that I'm hearing some of the stuff with you guys. So you're going to get my live reaction to it. We did get the audio of this because the video was not available till the very last minute of the meeting.
So normally when you check out council meetings on YouTube, you get the whole thing. But this time, if you went there, I think you got 4 minutes and like 53 seconds for some reason.
Which, by the way, was literally their highest rated, like their highest viewed 4 minutes ever on their thing. There was like 1,500, I don't know what it was, like 1,300 views on this as of a little while ago, and it was just amazingly bad. I mean, I heard from so many people that work in town like that was embarrassing of what they did. So you guys are in for a treat.
It was so bad. Stick with us for that one. It's a great clip that really highlights everything that we've talked about for years here.
Yeah.
Speaking of sticking with us, though, before we get into everything, if you're new here, subscribe to the podcast. Follow us on Facebook. Subscribe on YouTube.
Check out our website. I mean, if you go on the website, we've released out a kind of breaking news story that's been hidden, in here, and that's what those moments were about in that last 4 minutes that was captured on the video out there. But so check out our website because there is a ton of information that's on that site as well.
Yeah,
we have a bunch of links to useful links that are from the township's website where people are like, I can't even find where to get to the meetings. Where are they at? So go onto our website. It's gtobserver.com.
Yeah, that's something we do too. If there's a link that somebody just consistently asks about, I just add it to the menu on gtobserver.com. That way you can find it there. Just because our website, it's so tough to manage. It's so tough to navigate.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of information on it.
We do what we can. But, there's some written stories, too. Not everything is on the podcast. There's some written stories on the website. Great writers over there. Some of
that in this, that those written stories turned into this here. We didn't have a ton of details because it's a lot of information to go through. We kind of just got it, but wanted to get it out there as soon as possible because of the context of what it was. But at any rate, let's get into the May 28th council meeting. Now, again, some of this is, a lot of this is just going to be audio clips because we only have the audio recording of this.
We don't have any audio clips, but it was all notes taken from the audio recording. So we didn't spare you clips of us just sitting here staring at the screen while we listen to audio. So we did pull some.
Fair enough, yeah.
Yeah, we got it's like, normally it's 17, 19 clips, 3 today. So but just a recap, and this will make a lot of people happy too. They're like, wow, these things are so long. Just go for a recap. So one of the things that's been going on for the past couple meetings is the green team. We've talked about the green team. They've talked about the green team a lot.
Mr. Leader. He's been
Mr. Leader has been wanting to get on the green team now for months. And he's like, what's the green team, first of all? And then how would one get on the green team? Right. And he even mentions on their website, it says, if you want to join the green team, here's how. And he's gone that route, and nobody's contacting about joining the green team, and he wants to do it. So he expresses frustration about trying to join the green team. And the message they got from was, Dave, we're going to look into that. We'll get back to you.
Well, Dave, I can tell you, I got inside information here. You have opposed and questioned them, so you were not allowed to be on the green team. If you never, questioned anything, and you just, contacted about it, and they ask, what's your, voter registration? Oh yeah, okay, you can join us, on the green team, or whatever the case is, or I at one point was told I was on the green team. It was just a fluff position thing that they just threw. I don't know what it actually meant. It didn't mean anything. It was just a thing that they could say, and it sounds good. You're part of the, And I know someone else that around that same time was on the green team that said they just kind of were just dismissed and never heard from again.
It's a secret green team.
It is. Yeah,
and you make a mistake and you're off the green team.
Yeah, there's no real team, Dave. It is all an illusion.
Yeah,
it's like a lot of things. It's
Dave, I've also never been a member of the green team, as far as I know. So
we feel you, Dave.
Yeah, you're in good company. He also asked about. So we talked about this before. When something happens, like any kind of press release. Dave asked, how would we get notified of if you're going to do like a press release? How would we get notified of that? And the answer is kind of like, well, it's not a town hall. So you wouldn't. We will, and Chief Harkins kind of took this on, and he basically said, unless you're an approved media organization, and we talked about this the last meeting too, the last podcast we did.
Yep.
We applied for this New Jersey organization and thought that it was a straightforward process. They took my money, now that I think about it, and then it came back and said, sorry, you don't meet the requirements for these press passes that we issue. And then I responded, well, what are the requirements? And they said, perhaps maybe you just look over this other organization, become part of them. So there are requirements, but there really are no requirements to be a part of the New Jersey Press Association.
The requirements are we have to just say that you made the requirements.
Yeah, so the chief kind of gave an answer to Mr. Leader, and Mr. Leader thought that it lacked transparency, the way that they were going the route, and the chief kind of took issue with that and kind of responded in the fashion that some people still believe in old media. Some people still go 3, 6, and 10 for their news, and that's kind of how they do it. And now we see podcasts are getting, millions of views, hundreds of thousands of views per episode. They're beating television.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about
media,
this before on here, where people trust someone who's telling the truth, that they find them telling the truth over and over versus. The whatever you want to call it, the legacy media, the corporate media, the whatever it is, they've been caught lying to us so many times that people are just over it. So they're believing podcasts. So that's where it becomes comical when you see our current mayor starting up his own podcast, thinking that, because it's a podcast, they'll believe me. No, people don't believe you because you lie.
Yeah, people.
That's why they don't believe you. They listen to people like us who just tell it as it is.
Yeah, you don't become truthful just because you get a podcast.
Right. That's not. You actually have to just. You have it all wrong. Like the reason that people listen is because you're telling the truth.
Yeah.
So.
So Chief kind of responded back with that old school mentality of look, we have these sources that are. It's not actually a state-run organization that manages.
No,
it's a private organization that kind of hands out these badges, and that's what Gloucester Township subscribes to. So they will not let media, any kind of new media like us in. So
they wouldn't allow you to ask questions. So to clarify that, because
you did go. Yes, you did go.
Yeah, there were several people that went. So it was a press conference, is what David was referring to. Dave, I think he likes to be called. I'm sorry, Dave. But he was calling out a comment that was made by the chief that we caught on camera that was not caught on or not aired on the the one that went out on their official media thing. But the chief went up there and said, we will take questions from credentialed media, credentialed media, and there was, again, the 3, 6, 10, channels were in the room. Myself and a couple other, I guess you'd call them activists, that were there for whatever this. I forget exactly what it was for, but that then spurred Dave to get on this kick, and now he's asking again, and which is a testament to what happens in this town constantly, where people have to ask the same questions over and over and over because they don't get answers. It's not that hard to answer somebody's question, or whatever. It's just sad that that's how it has to go. So
another question that Dave had was about the new Black Box Theater, which we found out recently is now going to be called Harmony Hall. Dave asked, like, hey, maintenance costs for this thing. I guess once it's up and running, maintenance costs. What do they fall on? Are they going to be in a budget, or are they going to be? How's that going to be handled? And
well, from a timing standpoint, they did mention that August it was going to be conveniently, unveiled for election time and all that for the mayor.
Yeah, so I was shocked that they didn't do it like 2 weeks before election time. You got
mail-in ballots are like September-ish time.
Oh, okay.
So, you gotta plan these things out.
It's all planned out.
It's all planned out there.
But the answer was that yes, maintenance and utility costs are going to go into the municipal budget every year now. So it is the upkeep of that building will now be part of what you're taxed on. So
I don't even know that we know what maintenance type costs that we have for other buildings, like what is it called?
Well, it makes you wonder. Yeah, it makes you wonder all of the
main
buildings.
Stage. Like I don't. Do we pay the electricity there? Do we pay the sewer bill? Do we pay heat, gas, all that stuff?
That would be.
I don't know how any of that stuff works. Do we pay it for? Well, I don't know what other buildings that we have. I know like some of these like TBAA soccer over in is that building over there? It's a big build. I'm sure they have HVAC and they have electricity inside there. Who's paying those bills? The lights on the fields, I'm sure we pay. So this is another building that's
it's a good question, and I bet it's something that we probably it's probably on our website when we look at the citizens' budgets from the last year. I know Sam Sweet was going to do another citizens' budget comparison to what they've done in the past, but that's a good question to find out what do we pay just in like utility costs for all of the stuff that the township owns. So
yeah,
but that is going to be in there. And if you're not familiar with Harmony Hall or the bank, you probably haven't watched this before.
Harmony Hall is new to me. I didn't know.
Yeah, it's all brand new. But this is the clip that I took from there.
Let's talk about one of the projects I'm most excited for. Harmony Hall at the future Gloucester Township community.
That's where I learned about it.
We're restoring an
YouTube
historic
channel.
downtown building and transforming it into a space for everyone. When it opens this August, it'll be home to a black box theater, a lecture space, and a hub for community events. Phase 1, which was exterior repairs, is complete. For Phase 2, we're diving into the interior. Fixtures, furnishings, equipment, it's all happening now. And we're starting to plan a grand opening event worthy of this amazing space.
I look at that, and I mean, I've done commercial construction in my life, and I don't see $4.5 million or whatever their budget is in there. I don't know.
It really is. It's a small space. It's a small space with an even smaller parking lot. So
yes, there was remediation that needed to be done with mold probably and asbestos and things like that. Yes, it's harder to retrofit an existing building than it is to update that, but the amount of money that we've spent, I just don't know where it is. And when they say the exterior is complete, go drive by it. And I mean, how much money was spent up until that point? And then you're like, I don't know. It's
a couple. It looks like a couple little minor upgrades on the outside. There
definitely were upgrades. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that there weren't.
Yeah, I mean, asbestos remediation is an expensive process.
If anybody that was in charge of that project was paying for that out of their own pocket, I don't think it would have cost that amount of money.
No.
However, when you're using taxpayers' money to go do this,
unlimited.
It's
unlimited.
Sky's the limit. I'm surprised we got it done so cheap.
Yeah.
But
so
anyway,
yeah, that's going to be Harmony Hall. That's going to be in the arts district. It doesn't really have a lot of arts. So, also the other question that came up too was, hey, we're taking a lot of loans here for things like this and such. Can't those loans be put into the yearly budget rather than borrowing for them? And the answer was that we couldn't, because it would violate local bond law. So
I didn't hear his response, but I read that in our, in the notes that we had there. I don't know local bond law to know that. I can only take it at what what he says. However, I also know what he has says in the past. Doesn't exactly line up with reality. It's
if you have something that you have to pay for, capital, if it's a capital kind of thing, you have to pay for it that year. And if you have maybe a surplus that you can just pay for that, I have a really hard time thinking that bond law says, no, you can't use your money for it. You have to borrow it.
Right. That's why I don't understand how.
So you have
bond law would force you into borrowing something.
Force you into borrowing and then forcing you to give money to whoever holds that bond. It doesn't make sense. Even legally it doesn't make sense.
A lot of things in government don't make sense, but I mean another thing that's I think it's very common for people to like they what am I trying to say here? So we started bringing up a while back about how much debt we're in. And what I don't think people grasp about that, like what that actually is when they say they kept your taxes flat this year, they didn't. When they borrowed money, that borrowing was a promise to tax you later. They're saying, I swear to Christ, we are taxing you this $80 million later on. You're paying for this. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's a future tax. They're promising you that you're going to pay this later on. They may not have raised your taxes right now to get into office
but
again.
They added an expense.
They promised you. They
added
their heart.
They added an expense on the next 10 years worth of budgets. That's exactly what they did.
So how is it that the law forces them to promise to tax you later?
It's got to be impossible. It's got to be one of those things where if you read it and it's legal to do it the way that we're doing it, but it cannot be the only way is to borrow.
Yeah.
If you didn't, let's say you didn't do some of these capital projects and every year you had a couple $1 million left over in surplus, right? And you said and each year you said, you know what, all right, we're gonna finally take care of this. We're gonna put $2.5 million towards this year. Yeah. Next year we'll have an additional 2.5. We'll put that towards there, so we don't have to borrow. I can't imagine that's.
It's not. So the where's my? There we go. So in the school district in the K through 8 in Gloucester Township, zero debt, right?
Yeah.
Our township though, close to $80 million or whatever it is. In debt. How is it that the school's able to do that? And then the answer we get from our business administrator is that it will violate local bond law to do that. Like that's basically like somebody at home saying like, "Hey, you can put money aside. Okay, you got a raise at work. I can put a new roof on. Let's just say as an example.
Yeah.
Nope, that's illegal. You have to put that on your credit card. You can't use that money in your bank. You have to put that in a credit card. That's not. How would that make any sense?
Yeah,
if that's really how it is, then I mean I'm
until somebody from another township that has the same experience tells us that it's absolutely a thing. I'm always going to think that that's just a big lie.
It wouldn't be the first lie I've heard come out of that man's mouth.
So Nancy Kelly, she's gone by Nancy Kelly this week. She changed it. She changed it.
All right.
She expressed some disappointment in some of the remarks that, if you remember, there's some housing developments that are going to be built, and we talked about this last podcast. There are currently 2,000 units right now in process of being built.
And many more already approved, too, but that's what's being built.
And at one particular location, she had started getting petitions for people that said, we don't want this.
Right.
It's
very common practice. Very common. Go around, get signatures.
Go around, get signatures. And she was basically told, we don't care. We don't care.
That's cute. That's cute. But just if you take those, there's a trash can and a recycle bin. Actually, if you could recycle them on the way out, just throw them right in the trash can because we don't care.
Same thing that happened when all the people in Ariel didn't want the Wawa in Ariel. We got petitions, handed them in.
Don't matter.
I thought it was like 300 people or something like that, and they were like, "Yeah, it doesn't count. We don't care about that."
Yeah.
But yeah, and she her comments were basically saying that when she talked to residents were like, why bother? Why bother? Nobody cares what we think. They're going to do what they want to do. Yeah. And the sentiment is right. The sentiment is definitely right. But, so she spoke and they said, thanks. It was basically the response. So that was it for that.
That's such a shame. Like, it's, I don't know. These people are supposed to represent us.
Well, it is a shame. But on the other hand, it's kind of like, man, if anything should fire up people, it's the fact that when you go to speak about anything, they go, yeah, we don't care. We don't care what you want.
Yeah.
This is what we want. This is what we're going to do. If that doesn't motivate you to get off the sofa and go vote, I don't know what does. But you're watching this podcast, so you probably already do.
Right. But you need to talk to your neighbors. You need to talk to other people and let them know what's going on around here. People are, like you said, they feel that, like, what's the point thing? But more and more people, if they talk about it, say, hey, look, people are waking up. People are getting it. I said to Joe earlier today, because we went to look for something on the Townships thing, their YouTube channel. They had like 350, 400 views consistently on their, newer council videos.
Yeah.
That didn't happen before we started
getting used to be 8.
Yeah, that was literally like in single digits, maybe 12. Then it was like, 40. Then it was 50. They're getting more council, views on their things too, because we're getting more people involved there. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back or pat you on the back and hurt my arm doing so.
I mean, the cool thing
is that people are waking up, because the more and more that we can get out there and tell other people that they're going on, they spread the word to somebody else. They spread the word to somebody else, and people are looking and seeing. And I think that they know that too. And this last meeting was embarrassing. I'm sure.
I mean, we have a lot of opinions. But what the coolest part is when people watch the meetings for themselves. Not watch us.
Yeah.
Watch the meetings for themselves, and they say, "Damn, there's something's wrong here."
Yeah.
That's exactly that. That's all we wanted you to do.
Yep.
Was just watch for yourself.
Form your own opinions.
Form your own opinion. We're gonna give you our opinions, but we're not right all the time, but we're on to something, obviously.
No, and Joe's opinions are his own, not mine.
Yeah. Hey, it turns out too, nobody asked me to run again, so good to go.
Yeah. All right. So we have.
So there's this new project, and
this was what the breaking story on our GT Observer website broke. Right. It was around this.
Yeah. We'll play the promo video for it to let you know what the project's all about, and then we'll go into kind of the backstory on it.
Let's talk about a property with a lot of potential and a lot of history. I'm talking about the old Nike missile base located on Berlin Cross Keys Road. If you're familiar with the site, you probably know it's been sitting vacant for a while. But that's about to change. We've partnered with the Michaels organization to transform the former Nike missile base site, which is a township-owned property. This
publicly owned. You guys own
it. A vibrant, mixed-use community featuring market-rate townhomes and garden-style residences, along with in-demand retail shops and restaurants.
Market rate, not
The design
affordable,
emphasizes walkable, pedestrian-friendly streets, with parking located behind the buildings and plenty of green space to give it that true town center feeling. We're also exploring a cogeneration facility on site to deliver clean, cost-effective energy for residents and businesses. This is a big win for Gloucester Township. It means more jobs, more local business opportunities, and a stronger tax base, all while enhancing the quality of life for our residents.
What was the business opportunities that are there? Like, do they just have, like...
I don't know.
These are the talking point things, and let's just throw them into a speech for this guy.
And they're going to generate power there for...
A cogen thing? Well,
for residents? Like, is that going to make my electric bill go down?
Yeah, I don't know. This
or are we just gonna, or are we gonna throw solar panels on there like we did the dump, and then take that money and I guess just kind of.
We didn't even put the solar panels up. Someone else did that. Someone else is benefiting off of.
Yeah, we're leasing that.
We get $1 million over like 500 years or something.
They
like
were like,
that.
Was it
like, here's $20 every year, and they're like, oh, we saved your taxpayers money over.
Yeah.
But anyway,
so, that's the new project. More townhomes, a couple stores, I guess, but prime retail space. Really, if you think about it, I mean, you got the Acme, you got ShopRite, and then it's right there. So it's that open area there. It's great retail space, but they're gonna throw some townhomes in there, and probably a few little stores, retail shops. Somebody mentioned to me when I was showing them this, they said, "Why we have already on Cross Keys Road, we have an entire. If you look behind like Texas Roadhouse, that's like mostly empty. There's so many stores at the outlet's mostly empty. Do we really need to keep putting more retail shops and stuff in? Like we don't have a shortage of retail spaces, but we definitely, God, we've got so many housing units too. But
it's not even about what's going in there. To me, it's about. How do we get here? Where did that come from?
It's about seeing this video and then being involved in all of this for years, thinking, why is this the first time we've heard about this?
Right. So the first I heard of it was there's a what's called the business breakfast that's held over at Valley Brook, and it's posed as some sort of a business networking event, and everybody comes and networks. It's like, you ever see those the Trump rallies? That's what it basically is for the mayor, though. He goes up there and it's a mayor rally. He's talking about how great it is. It gives out some awards, and they get their time up there in front of people. But he presents this meeting here, and I remember before I went to the meeting, somebody said to me, "I guarantee you, there's going to be something there that's either not going to happen or." It's going to be pie in the sky thing. They promised us a computer center or something like that over on the
the data center, yeah,
the data center, yeah. They promised us this and they promised us that. So, whatever. I hear people say stuff all the time. So I go to the meeting and this comes up, and I say to myself, "Wait, hold on. First of all, Michael's organization. Let me just reel this back in my head here. I know that name. That's a very familiar name from a recent indictment from the Attorney General's office."
Okay.
And then I'm like looking at the plans. I'm like, wait a second. Hold on a second. This is just the whole thing was just odd. So I took note of that and talked to some people afterwards, and we all started looking into stuff and digging up and saying, how is it this is the first time that we've ever heard any of this stuff? Because the way that this process is supposed to work, because the council is the redevelopment entity in town.
Yeah.
They're using a redevelop because it's a whole complicated thing to explain here, but it shouldn't be that the first time the public's hearing about this partnership. Again, I pointed out the words he said in there. He called it a partnership. There's a bunch of things that happen. So Denise Coyne, who many of you have seen if you've watched this in the past, has been on the podcast, has constantly at council meetings asking questions and taking no prisoners kind of thing, and she put together a list of questions to ask them, and unfortunately the video, again, like you guys know, was not captured. But Joe, do you want to read some of those questions? It was basically a list of 8 questions. There's a lot of pretext to it and a lot of law.
Yeah, so I guess some backstory is back in March 24th. I think this went through. Didn't this go through as a consent agenda item?
True. So they named Michael's organization as I forget the exact term, but it was like a conditional or something like that, or like
as a redeveloper and authorizing a funding agreement.
Yeah, but they did it, but it wasn't like it was just on a consent agenda. And a consent agenda, just for those that don't know, it's like, here's a whole bunch of just routine stuff that we need to get done.
Like paying bills and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's just like, all right, just one foul swoop of a vote just gets all this mundane stuff through. Well, this slipped through a meeting as like, we're just going to name this company as a redevelopment thing. Never was mentioned that there was a request for interest or whatever they called it. That was put out. They never knew anything of a return back to say, hey, we're interested and here's our plan. But just somehow that happened. And we're like, we're going to name Michael's organization here. Council themselves had never seen any of the stuff that we put out online until we put it out online, apparently, because that became clear, later on. So how is it that GT Observer finds information out about something that's going on before the council finds out about it? It was done very, very, in my opinion, dirty. You know what I mean? This was very dirty.
So Denise submitted some questions to council, and here are the questions. The first question: when and where did council, acting as the redevelopment entity, publicly meet to review and discuss the Michaels organization's proposal before adopting Resolution R25-03106?
Great question.
Number 2, has the planning board reviewed or approved any redevelopment plan or amendment authorizing mixed-use development, including townhomes, garden apartments, commercial retail, cannabis cultivation, or a cogen plant or vertical farming at this site? Never heard of it.
Nope.
Has the township formally accepted either scenario A or scenario B of the Michaels proposal? If so, which one was discussed?
Right.
Never discussed. Number 4, will the township retain ownership of the land through a ground lease, or is a fee simple sale being negotiated? So either ground lease, fee simple sale is build it and then I guess hand it over.
Yeah, it's like a sold outright versus we still own it and retain it and lease it, and yeah.
Number 5, has any ordinance been introduced or passed to authorize the sale or lease of township-owned property as required under NJSA 40A 12-13? Never discussed that either.
This is our property, folks. We all own this, not just some random person.
This is Dave's property. This is our property.
Yep.
Number 6, has the township to agree to allow Michaels' organization to construct and lease back a police station to the township? That's one of the things in the proposals, another police station. Number 7, what economic incentives, financial assistance, tax abatements, or pilot agreements are being considered offered for the Michaels organization as part of this redevelopment? And then the 8th question, has any council member received a copy of the Michaels organization redevelopment proposal? We'll find out later.
Right.
This is about 180-page
it took me
binder. It's not you're going to see it referred to by some council members that never saw this thing. We have documents come across our desk all the time.
Yeah.
And
Denise like, no, it's a thick one with big spiral bound.
It's a spiral bound binder, 180 pages.
Yeah. About the Nike base, by the way. Do you remember reading anything about that? I mean, it's not like some Nike base coming across your desk 42 times a month or something like that.
This is a great clip. I've added some.
Oh wait, I want to go back into the. Let me see. There was a point I wanted to make about a couple things here. Okay, so the numbers, the Michaels organization constructing and leasing back a police station. There were a couple things that went out when there was this request for expression of interest, I think it was called. In that, they're saying who wants to express interest in building us a grow facility and a police station and these townhomes and all this stuff. Who has interest in doing that? And only one organization is the one who responded back. How the Michaels organization, who's tied into the Norcross machine through, and the reason I'm saying that is because of the indictment. That's the tie I'm making there. But and our tie to our mayor and Norcross is my source for that. I guess I'll say is Norcross himself was quoted in Philadelphia Magazine as calling the mayor he's part of the Can Do Club.
Yep.
So there's the connections all there, right? So how is it that the Michaels organization is the only one that responded back to this, that even knew that it even went out there, because it was a very short window of time for somebody to propose it back 181 pages of a proposal.
Yeah.
Have two different ones to pick from. One has a grow facility. So we somehow, I'm not sure, I'm not trying to piss anybody off, but I don't care about if pot is legal in this country, I mean this state here, right? That we do have a lot of marijuana facilities, but this is a grow facility that our government was asking for. So I don't understand how that is our role to put a cultivation facility there. So I'm not saying one way or the other on the grow facility, but they're asking for a grow farm and a vertical grow farm and then a police station. And if you look into the Michaels organization in this packet of their proposal back, they built police stations a lot. And there's something to do with redevelopment law and them building a police station on that property and leasing it back that makes a loophole. You know what I mean? I don't exactly know what it is, but there definitely is something to what this project was done to do. And I don't know that it's my opinion that I don't know this was done because our police needed a bigger facility or that they required something like that. It was done because our political party machine bosses needed more money, and here's a great project that we can all become a little bit more greased up if we do it this route here.
We've talked a lot about dispensaries on here, and there's a lot of people that don't like them. A lot of people that do like them. We've both been kind of neutral on that. Grow facilities, a little bit different. If you've ever gone past
is the grow facility the role of local government though? Owning one, building one, putting one up?
No, definitely not.
Right. So why is that in a project that we're asking?
I mean, are they going to lease it to like Curaleaf?
I have no idea. Who knows?
But
doesn't say.
Generally, when you go by a grow facility, you know you're going by a grow facility.
Right. It's like there's skunks around.
Because no matter how they filter the air out of it, the entire area still smells like you're in a grow facility. I think that's a really big thing that people should know about that could be in their neighborhood that may not like that. It's not just I don't care about the pot shops. I think they're great. They've taken over all these abandoned businesses and banks and stuff like that, and Friendlies, and they're rebuilding them into retail facilities. I think it's great. But a grow facility might make some people a little bit angry, so that kind of snuck in there too.
I mean, at 60,000 square feet is not that small of a place. I mean, that's a pretty decent sized place. That was one. The other one was 80,000 square feet of a place. That's a big freaking warehouse, of grow. But then the police station on top of it, those two parts were in the plans for this whole request for expression of interest or whatever that was called. And then what you saw the mayor propose there had none of that in there. There was no police station and there was no grow facility. So did they use the Michaels organization to say, like, hey, they have a history of building these places, we can do that, and we don't have to follow this law because they're building a police station here, and we already entered into a legal agreement, and this time there's a lot to this thing here that is very fishy.
Is that really, though? Like, when you see, like the mayor only does positive, feel-good stuff, right? Right.
The Easter Bunny's coming.
If the mayor, the mayor proposing a new police station and a new grow facility, that's not that's not something that he gets involved in, because there could be negatives involved in that, right? People could say, "Well, what do we need a new police station for, or a grow facility?" Same thing I was just talking about.
Right. He's
not going to touch that kind of stuff. So that in itself is kind of shady. That was left out of the whole promo video too.
Well, that's what the question is. So did those plans change? Did the plans change that if you're going to argue that, we didn't need to do any kind of a meeting because it fell under this thing here, and from what I've heard, someone else mention that it was very recently that a redevelopment law changed to include this loophole that might be why or how they were able to do what they did, but they are very calculated on a lot of these things here. And the other part to mention too was that in doing research for sources that we've heard, the guy Primo Cruz that was mentioned in one of the articles recently about him being the new chief of staff, and he's also part of the solicitors, and it's been questioned by counsel, like why did we need a new another $100,000 salary in the legal department? Isn't Carlamere our what, all this stuff? And it was told multiple times to make sure that you knew Primo Cruz was in this. I don't know exactly what that connection means there, but it was, it was very clear to make sure that this is Primo Cruz's project over here. But again, what this has to do with the development law or the redevelopment law based off of having the police station being part of that whole thing to what it actually was announced in the mayor's video. There's a lot of questions. Just a lot of questions. I thought there was something else I wanted to bring up on here too, but that was probably it. I already talked more than I probably should. All right, what is it? Clip 3?
Yeah, so this cuts in as we mentioned earlier. There were problems where they couldn't get the YouTube stream going, and the YouTube stream finally kicked in the last couple minutes. So that's where this kind of starts off. Denise is up there questioning them about their knowledge of this 180 pages that it seems clear that nobody's seen this. And actually some of them have mentioned, we never got this. So it kind of kicks in, and then you'll see some people like Councilwoman Grace.
Oh, she dug her heels in. I'll have to look at it again.
She is
there's no question I saw this.
She's such a team player for them that she refuses to admit that she never got this thing, and at least 3 times has pretended like she's seen this thing again, and she just needs a refresher on it.
Yeah,
so,
and credit to Councilman Nash, who corrected her in there and said, no, this is like the 13 acre thing is what you're talking about. So he's correct. He's trying to correct her and say, hey, you don't know, we didn't get this. He didn't say that. He didn't say we didn't get this, but
one guy's got a mind of his own up there.
Yeah, but the other part too to mention about this is the reason that she went up there is, how we've talked already this whole year about how they changed the format of this. So from talking to Denise afterwards, this wasn't like the part of the typically they don't answer the back and forth. So council president was not at the meeting there. They responded back to the questions, and then she kind of lost her mind in the audience, saying, "No, you don't get to say I'll get back to you on this. You don't get to just dismiss all 8 of these questions, which basically are putting you on the hook here to say, answer our question. This is our property. This is our money you're spending. This is this. We're questioning if there's any legality issues in this whole thing. You don't get to just say we're not going to answer you right now." So the vice president who was running the meeting did allow her to come back up there and clarify the questions, because I believe, from what I understand, they were just kind of dismissing it. And anyway, so let's play the clip here just to understand how, because once it's done, I've never seen them leave this building so quick.
Yeah, they did. They cut out right after this. Usually I take out any little bit of pauses when we play clips. I always cut out so to make clips shorter. I left most of them in there just because it's just so bad.
Yeah, I mean, this is okay. Yeah, the pauses tell a story too, is what you're saying, right? Yeah. All right, so we're gonna play this. This is probably 4 or 5 minute clip.
Yeah.
Yes, I like a second review.
I mean, I would like an
Also,
answer tonight.
Nancy, can I also can I get is there a ordinance or number that I can review? Is it for redevelopment and planning? Can I get more information on that?
Back to my question, I would like an answer tonight, whether or not the redevelopment entity members got a copy of this proposal.
I said I don't remember.
I told you I read it. I don't remember. You keep asking me.
Okay, what about everybody else? Can you ask them?
I just don't recall.
I do not recall. I would have to look at my papers. I think we went over it at one of the workshops.
I suffer from short-term memory loss.
Short-term memory loss. I don't believe this.
No, it would have been a redevelopment entity meeting, which wasn't held, so.
No, I did not get one. I went through that. No.
You over.
Just like another copy. Okay. No, I just want to review it again. Just to
Again,
refresh. Yes.
I need a refresher.
Just to refresh.
Just for clarification, this was
And
on
then
the
we
March 24th meeting.
Yes.
Yeah, clarification. It was on March 24th.
Well, I don't know when the proposal came out, but it was in a spiral-bound notebook, and it was 181 pages. So I think you guys would remember if you got it.
I did not receive that.
Okay, so the answer is no.
Well, the answer's not really no. I just would like to know. There's a lot of documents that come before us, so I would like to review it again.
It wasn't
to be sure.
Document. It was a bound spiral, 181-page document.
When I get things like that, I usually give them, after I look at them, I review them, and then I give them back.
Everybody's making stories up.
And we get a few of those things, so
Well, maybe Nancy could answer if she sent it to anybody. If
Great.
it was sent to the council members. Can I get an answer on that?
That was a great audible there. She just called.
Well, usually when the planner goes over documentation, if there's a large thing that was gone over by the planning board or the planner, it's sent out by our planner to the individuals. I don't remember sending it out to council personally.
Okay,
But
so
I
you
can
didn't send
definitely
it
check
and
on
nobody
that.
could say whether they got it. That's my answer, correct?
Yes, but Mr. Carlamere, for the RFEI, that wasn't actually for the redevelopment to approve. It was just to acknowledge ideas for that area. It wasn't a concrete.
The mayor announced it. Entered into a partnership, and there's a video out there saying that it's going to be built in the townships in a partnership with the Michaels organization. So I'm wondering how that happened if it was never reviewed by the redevelopment entity. And nobody's even aware if they got a copy of the plan or not.
So the resolution on March 24th was just designating Michaels as a development, as the redeveloper. However, for the redevelopment entity, that may have been done it could have been prior, months before that. So they'll get the information for us, and we'll find out when.
Never went in front of the redevelopment entity. I checked. Don't bother looking. I already did.
Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Queen.
But this is the Michaels. I'm talking.
Polling of directors.
Carolyn's somewhere right now, still pleading her case that she saw this thing.
No, I saw it. I just got to pull it back up. I got it.
It's like
just to refresh.
You get caught in a lie, and you're like, I'm
gonna triple down.
Yeah, I'm gonna die on this hill. I didn't eat those cookies. It's embarrassing, man. Just watching that happen.
That was embarrassing.
Some of them.
I'll tell you. Well, so I believe what I saw was Walters was the first one to admit I did not get this. So credit to her for saying it up there before other people did. Yeah. I know Jim said he didn't receive it. So Mignon, he can't remember, and Troxel, she sees a lot. She gives them back, so she can't even go back and see if she got it because she doesn't keep them.
Was Winters even there?
I didn't notice, honestly. I didn't take note. Can you play it real quick?
I like a second.
Oh yeah, it doesn't look like she was there.
I would like an answer tonight.
Yeah, she's not.
Okay, she's not there. Okay.
So then Jim Nash says he didn't get it, and Walter says she didn't get it. Mignon can't remember. Troxel, she doesn't know. And Grace absolutely got it. She's just got a review. So there's only five members there. Okay, yeah. So she got it. Maybe she can make copies for other people. The clerk doesn't recall ever giving it to anyone.
Nobody's ever seen
The clerk also passed it off as usually it's not me that does it. It was somebody else. So I mean, it was just unbelievably embarrassing. But again, they're talking about our money and our property that we own as the public, that they just went and did whatever they wanted, and this was also brought up before by Denise before we even knew that this whole plan existed and who it was that that was developing all that, or not. I shouldn't say it. We did know who was developing it. We didn't know that what they requested that somebody would come and develop this, and that was grow facilities and police stations and all that. But she asked the mayor announced this at this business meeting here with a quorum of council members, and you haven't voted on all this stuff yet. So he's tainting the vote by saying this is what the mayor wants to do, and they're like, no, we can have a quorum there. We weren't talking about government meeting. We're saying no, we weren't telling you that you were talking about government business there. We're saying he tainted your thought, like to say that this is what we want, this is what we have. It's bizarre. This is a big one here.
He puts out a promo video. He supports. He is the one that funds all of their campaigns. Him and the PACs that surround him. And after he puts a promo video out, to think that they would say, "No, we're not. Right. No, we don't want to do that." Yeah, that's insanity. So, watching them stumble over this, and then seeing some of them come out as honest, and then seeing some of them just lie to the end.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm dying on this hill. That's it.
Yeah, if this doesn't the
Who voted what or who said what doesn't surprise me.
This-
Mignon didn't know that the mayor allegedly didn't know that the mayor worked for New
American
Jersey
Water,
American
yeah.
Water. He's a great actor. He's one of the best out there. We should have awards. That's what we should do. We should do an award show. That would be funny. Anyway,
this 4 minutes that this summarizes 5 years.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Right there. That's what we've been talking about for 5 years. Yeah.
They didn't have just a bully up there to try to shut it down. If Orlando was there, this would not have been captured, and it would have gone a completely different way.
He would have silenced
Denise.
Denise.
He was furious. And I'm sure not just him. I'm sure plenty of people were furious the next day over the outcome of that meeting. And hey, listen. I don't understand why they would be furious. It's not furious. Don't be mad at us as the public for doing it. You're the ones that did it, not us. Like, not them. They're. I don't know.
Look, kudos to the people that said, "Look, I never got this thing," but also, you did let it slip through on March 24th. So,
anyway, all right. Well, just one last time, if you guys haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Turn your notifications on for updates that we have going on. Not on exactly a regular schedule, but we try to be. Other than that, you got anything else, Joe?
That's pretty much it.
All right. Well, have a good one, folks.
See you, folks.